One Piece finally fixes Netflix's biggest problem. Netflix One Piece is truly an anomaly of a win for anime, live action, and the concept of adapting manga into other forms of entertainment outside of animation. Skeptics were absolutely right to approach the first season through a cautious lens, though doubts were quickly dismissed as One Piece Season 1 established itself as an outlier. Under the guidance of One Piece creator Eiichiro Oda, Netflix brought new life to one of the most beloved anime of all time through a genuinely refreshing perspective. However, outside of One Piece, Netflix has been concerned with its own issues of leveraging values on one-off successes and carelessly contributing to an onslaught of poor production. The streaming service has created a habit of tending to singular titles that have transformed into cultural phenomena, and have left the rest of their movies and shows to fend for themselves, or have failed to develop them fully. One Piece served as an indication that Netflix is finally aiming to fix its biggest problem, hinting at a worthy future for Netflix and its approach to the quality of its latest productions. Netflix One Piece can finally beat K-pop Demon Hunters. Netflix's never-ending catalog of media has presented a blatant display of quantity over quality, though it allows quality to stand out when the streaming giant genuinely can recognize how outstanding their productions have the power to be. Netflix has attempted to bury its weaker projects beneath sensationalized titles such as One Piece or K-pop Demon Hunters, with K-pop Demon Hunters proudly securing the title of Netflix's most-watched movie of all time. One Piece must step up to remind audiences that one significant win for the streaming platform doesn't automatically redeem their countless losses over time. What Netflix must realize is that their capitalization on K-pop Demon Hunters is a singular event, and should not offset the poor quality of their other offerings. One Piece's return to the small screens must insist that Netflix is pouring a conscious effort into how its media is developed instead of investing only in what's popular at the moment. One Piece being renewed ahead of Season 2's pending release ensures that Netflix has confidence in the franchise as it delves deeper into the anime and manga's arcs. Though K-pop Demon Hunters is also expected to receive sequels of its own, the long-term plan for One Piece in live action can instill the idea that Netflix wasn't waiting for One Piece's adaptation to earn popularity before consequently rebuilding the franchise. If Netflix consistently delivers similar production quality that can be compared to what One Piece Season 1 delivered, there's greater confidence that Netflix will step back from the one-time win mindset that K-pop Demon Hunters rewarded the streaming service with. A singular great movie isn't an excuse for lackluster entertainment at large. K-pop Demon Hunters is a trend at the moment, but One Piece can overshadow the animated phenomenon through an even stronger second season. Netflix's biggest problem is still bad production. Netflix's desire for more has allowed its library to accumulate high volumes of movies and shows, yet the streaming service suffers at its own hand. Less is certainly more when it comes to how frequently Netflix is churning out content, and the company is self-aware of its pop culture sins. Netflix Film Division Chief Scott Stuber previously admitted that "we're a machine that was built to go, go, go," and that doesn't always result in quality. A lot of streaming companies made the mistake of moving so fast that we made a lot of things that weren't ready to be produced. Even with such a massive offering for subscribers to choose from, Netflix's inconsistency with production value has negatively impacted the brand's reputation. One Piece served as a counterpoint to how Netflix has previously approached its anime live-action adaptations, yet this one-off instance must instill a trend for the streaming service's future. Even some of One Piece's visual effects have been questioned, and One Piece Season 2 could lose its luster due to cartoonish CGI, or the poor integration of Tony Chopper into a live-action setting. An early look at Dory and Brogy tickles a sense of fear into how Netflix may attempt to bring these giants to life in live action, and maybe contradict One Piece Season 2 through conflicting visual and tonal execution. Netflix can acquire the rights to just about any property that they please, but they cannot buy back the loss of trust from fans following a series of disappointing misunderstandings of beloved pieces of media. One Piece's critical and commercial success doesn't discount that Netflix could have enhanced some of the show's visual elements. One Piece balances inconsistency with consistency in different forms. A strong screenplay and character-worthy performances level out the idea that not every episode in One Piece Season 1 is perfect. Because Netflix stepped back from its poor habits and incorporated Oda into the heart of the live action, One Piece was spared from suffering an ill fate. By pouring an immense amount of care into One Piece, Netflix emphasizes that they've overinvested in underwhelming productions. However, this problem will persist until Netflix decides to take action to improve production quality instead of simply addressing the concern without any further means of redeeming their own faults. One Piece Season 2 will make or break Netflix in 2026. One Piece Season 2 staying in stride with Season 1 would justify Netflix's investment in One Piece as a whole, and will test the streaming service's ability to uphold the integrity behind one of their most outstanding modern series. If One Piece Season 2 achieves greatness, the entertainment giant will predictably see an increase in consumer engagement, subscription numbers, and positive sentiments shared about the brand as a whole. One Piece Season 2 has already given itself potential for greatness. Following a strong introduction of the Straw Hat crew, fearsome warlords, and a fascinating array of characters, One Piece Season 2 can completely indulge in the richness of the manga and anime to an even greater extent. Netflix One Piece Season 1 ensured that there was a generous and sincere understanding of the source material. Fan favorites will finally make their debut, with Chopper and Nico Robin finally making their formal acquaintance with Monkey D. Luffy and his Straw Hat Pirates. Joe Manganiello's Crocodile is highly anticipated to serve as a highlight of One Piece Season 2, building onto the collection of villains that live-action fans have already met. From an outsider's perspective looking in, One Piece Season 2 insists that it'll defy its own expectations, making Netflix's commitment to bringing the legacy title to life even more worthwhile. Oda themselves has contributed to the excitement swarming around Season 2. The first season of Netflix One Piece may have established a genuinely impressive foundation for One Piece Season 1 to build upon, and eager fans should remain confident that the second season will prepare to deliver more intense action, more thrilling fights, and greater stakes along the Grand Line.